Hi, this is introduction to some terminology and the layout of Excel. So what you're looking at right now is an Excel workbook. So if you look up here, it says Book 1. So a file in Excel is called a workbook. Like all books, there are multiple pages. The pages are these sheets at the bottom. Right now, I only have one page, or sheet 1. I may use the plus sign to add additional sheets to my book. These are called worksheets. Worksheets are included inside of a workbook, which is your file. So if you're looking at this system, what I want you to recognize is that there are a series of columns. Columns are identified with letters. There are also rows. Rows are identified with numbers. An intersection of a column and a row is considered a cell. So a cell is the intersection of a column and a row. It is always identified by that intersection address. The name box, which is located right here, tells you what your active cell is. So your active cell is the cell that you're sitting in and ready for input or editing or copying or some action. The active cell or cells are identified by the green border around it. You can see that for my active cell is D4. The D and the 4 are both a different color shaded, and then the name box shows that. You can also select multiple cells, and all I did there was click, hold, drag. Now this whole area is my active cell. Notice they're all shaded, but the name box only shows the upper left cell. So that is considered a range. So you can enter really 3 kinds of information into Excel. You can put in what is called a label or text, or some people call it alphanumeric. That is text that's in a cell that you would not perform math on. It has no numeric value. The second type is a value. And a value is something that has a numeric value to it, and you can do math on it. So it could be a number, could be a whole number, a decimal. It could be a date. Right? Even though I could even write that like this, even though it has letters in it, it's a value because it has an underlying serial value that represents that date. So we have labels, which are text, special characters, numbers. For example, something that's a number that would not be considered a value might be a phone number, right? So that's all numbers, but that's not a numeric value. You're not going to add a bunch of phone numbers to get the total. Then the third type is a formula. And within a formula, there is a special kind of formula called a function. But bottom line, both formulas and functions are formulas. Formulas are designated by an equal sign. When Excel sees an equal sign in a cell, it knows, okay, whatever's coming is a formula. So I could say, take this number and add this number. That cell may look like 246.4 is in it, but if we look up here at the formula bar, we can really see what resides in that cell. Not this answer that's reflected, but rather the formula. Because if I come back here and I change that, See, the formula doesn't change. What results does. A function then is a specialized formula that has begins with an equal, has a function name, and then let me pick a different one. Has a function name that performs some function, and then always an open and closed parentheses. Then within that parentheses, you may or may not have parameters. So what I did there is I put in a function called average that averaged those two numbers together. Okay. I could also put something like today. Now today doesn't have any parameters. It's an empty, it's null, but you still have to include that. And those are just specialized formulas. All of them get entered into a cell. I want to draw your attention down here. This is the mode that you're in. So right now you can see I'm ready. What that means is I can start typing anywhere. Watch when I start typing. It changes to the enter mode. If I go back to that cell and I double click, I'm now in edit mode. So let me come down here. ABC, I'm typing. Now if I hit my arrow key on my keyboard, I move to my next, right? So the arrow keys move me left, right, up, down to a cell. When I am in edit mode and I use those keys, do you see it's bringing me within that cell to the letters in there so I can edit. We want to talk a little bit about what your mouse looks like. So in Excel, there are a lot of different looks. So right now, do you see how it's just an arrow? I don't have anything selected. When I click, I now get what looks to me like an American Red Cross. It's a thick cross that is empty in the middle. That means I'm ready. I can select at that point, right? So I can select. I can select. I can select. When I have something selected and I have a green bar around it, watch my mouse when I go to the edge. Do you see how it changes to a thin, like black crosshair with arrows on every end? 4 arrowheads. That is considered the move. So if I come here and I click and I drag, I have moved that to another cell. So if I do that here, I'm going to move it. If I go to the edge and I get this little box that's called the data fill handle, and I go to the edge and I get that thin black cross with no arrowheads, that's considered a copy. And when I'm copying, I can copy like that, and I'm copying formulas, right? So watch what you're doing with that. Then I want you to watch when I'm coming up to my F. So to the letter or the row number, it changes to a black down arrow or a black right arrow. If I click, I've selected that entire column. If I click, I select that entire row, and I can select multiple rows, right? I could select multiple columns. So let's say I realized I want a new column between K and L. In Excel, you always want to be to the right or below what you want to insert. So this is another where you watch your mouse. Watch, I'm down arrow, boom. I've got a vertical line with 2 arrows. And I'm sorry, that's to size. I'm super sorry. So I can click and drag. If I want to insert, I just do right click insert. And it will insert, let me undo that. It'll insert to the left of where you're at. So I'm in L. It's going to put a new column between K and L. Right click. I'm at my down arrow. Right click, insert. Then if I want to make K smaller, I can click and drag. If I want to make K and L smaller, I just need to KLM. Do that. Or go this way. Or double click. Double click will make it a autofill. Okay. So always watch what your mouse looks like. And let's see what else. Okay, so I'm going to type a number here. I'm going to hit my enter key. Watch where I go. When you hit enter, 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 I'm going in the same column down a row. If I type 100 and I hit tab, 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 enter, tab, 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 enter, tab. So tab will take you to the right until you get to the end of the row, and then you hit enter and it'll bring you back around. If I type 100 here and I use this check mark, it enters it and keeps me in that same cell. Let's say I'm trying to type 100 and I realize, oh, that's not what I want. I can either use this X or hit my escape on the keyboard, and you might have to escape a couple times depending on how far you've gotten. All right, so that's a brief introduction just to kind of what you're looking at when you see this. You can move through these sheets, workbook, look at your mode, watch what you have in your mouse, enter, edit, and ready. All right, next movie will be a first pause and practice. Thank you.